bottom. Back to return for St. Joe. The crowd start to get into it. The throw off is in the air on the way from Vernon Sharp, and it comes in the back of the end zone. Everybody coming down, and they will bring it out on that touchback. So we're going to get a look at this St. Joe offense right out of the gates. And again, the big story, it's been this kind of slow start in the first half. And they're going to get the chance to get on the right foot here. They will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. Angelo Trujillo, second game starting this year for St. Joe.
And not only the second start, but also a major part of their spark plug for that very near comeback in week 2 against Duluth. You can definitely feel an energy swing since he's taken over under center.
He can throw, he can run. He is the definition of a dual threat. Here he is with it, and right up the run lane, gets a nice block up to the 15 and slung into the walls. That's a good pickup, exactly 10 yards on the ground.
That's exactly what they needed here early, and of course the fans that pay for those sideline seats getting their money's worth right off the bat.
Quick dump off here. Finds it to his man, Jalen Knox, newcomer to the team. His second game this year for the Goats. He picks up 5.
Might be coming back, though. We do have some yellow on the turf in the area where Oscar Scott made the initial block off the snap.
Illegal block, low block, offense number 83. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
They do get the penalty on Oscar Scott, a low block, so back it up a little bit. Take that first completion of 5 yards off the table for Trujillo to his man Knox. Goats will give it a try again off the penalty. Had it and in and out of the hands, incomplete. Trying to find it to his man Lorenzo Thompson. Don't see him drop too many of those.
No, and I was watching warm-ups earlier, and Thompson was having a bit of a struggle with the dropsies in the warm-ups early on.
They put him in motion here. Trujillo at his goal line, has to throw, finds his man. It's caught. Backpedaling into the end zone, touchdown, the Missouri Tiger, Boo Smith.
Guess who? Boo Smith with the offense generating early, and that's exactly what St. Joseph needed to do. That's how they got the offense clicking early last week, and they go right back to him here once again. Of course, had a bit of a legacy game last year at home against the Iowa Woo with the 3 pick sixes in one game. And he gets things rolling early here. They'll go for 2 right off the bat.
This is something that they did last week in Iowa as well, or in Eau Claire, I should say. Back to the end zone, using every bit of that reach. Lorenzo Thompson, he didn't drop that one.
So he had some struggles in warm-ups. He had some struggles on the first pass of the game, but right there, cue up the Sports Center Top 10 music, goes up high, reels it back in, survives the wall, and we got an early 8-0 Goats lead.
Yes, I mean, how about that? They get the penalty, and then the drop after that, a drive that looks like it might have been going kind of sideways, and they heave up the big pass 45 yards down the field. Trujillo hit him in stride down to Boo Smith, who backpedaled his way in. He got over the top of that defense. And the Goats strike first here. 8-0 lead early. Back-to-back weeks where the Goats have gone down and scored 8 on their opening drive.
And importantly, managed to avoid on such a long ball, skimming the bottom of that, the big Jumbotron up in the middle of the ceiling there.
We talked about that a lot last week, how that big board does kind of hang down, and we've seen plenty of balls ricochet off. Haven't had it yet. Our second throw off, it is down and on the return, breaking some tackles, and now brought down as he passes the 15-yard line. The return man there for the Woo, looks like Demarius Cooksey was the one that had it. So now the Woo, their first chance to try to answer here. Again, a matchup of the 2 top scoring teams in the league through 3 weeks. Fairly small sample size, but we saw the Goats go down and score. Now how will the Woo answer?
And for St. Joseph, can they generate those pivotal turnovers? Coach Golston preaches takeaways, takeaways, takeaways. It's the key to his defensive strategy. Slow to getting them early on in the year. We'll see if they can fix that here today.
We'll see what they can do. Rogers deflected on the pass. It's Mike Reynolds that got back there, and it goes incomplete.
Oh, if Reynolds, he was celebrating the batted pass. He was throwing his arms out to say incomplete, and it landed about 3 inches to the right of him.
Oh, so close. If he might have turned around, might have had a chance to get it. Mike Reynolds, big 6'1", 260-pound man, former Kansas Jayhawk, making his presence known here early. Rogers will roll out, down the field, looking for his man, tight coverage. It goes incomplete. Trying to take that big end zone shot.
Big time defense on display early on here from St. Joseph, already forcing a 3rd and long. And if they can, after that Boo Smith touchdown, force a quick turnover here from Iowa, this place might be ready to explode. Another great crowd on hand here in St. Joseph.
Energy is already palpable. Haven't picked up a yard yet. Rogers is going to change that here. Takes off and run. Best rusher on the team, right into the walls, and losing a helmet for the Goats was Jalen Knox.
I see
escorted
ear
Rogers.
everywhere.
One. Need a yard to keep the opening drive alive. Rogers will take the snap, fakes to give to Mack, and he is swallowed up in the backfield. Coming through first, Antonio Taylor.
Great play by Taylor, and an excellent play on the back end as well. I want to say it was Jalen Jordan who cut off the run angle. That was a read option all the way, and he played the back, which gave Taylor the opportunity to just go in full speed, play quarterback, because you know the quarterback was going to pull it. That was perfectly executed. Everyone on their assignments defensively from St. Joseph, beautifully drawn up, and that is exactly how a former defensive back in his own right, Coach Golston, loves to see it play out.
Yeah, back in his heydays up in the University of Wyoming for Golston, and yeah, you know that's got to make him happy. Now with his offense back on the field, Trujillo dumps it off to his right. Martinez, legs cut up underneath, but another nice gain on 1st down.
Martinez, one of the better run-after-catch athletes on the field. Never a bad idea to get it to him short and let him just kind of rumble upfield with that big frame of his.
Trujillo looking to take off again. Flag is down. I'm not sure if he crossed. He needed to cross the 15-yard line in that running lane before he could disperse out, and I think he crossed just a couple of yards too early.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be a holding? One of the two.
I think he might have been out.
Illegal procedure. Quarterback went outside the running lane before crossing the line of scrimmage. Be 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Second penalty of the game on the Goats, so that'll back him up a little bit more. Again, that is a new rule. Last year, quarterbacks could not run past the line of scrimmage at all. This year, they introduced the running lane. You got to keep it in between the hash marks in the middle of the field, and then as soon as you cross the line of scrimmage, you can then get out of that running lane and go. Trujillo was just a little bit too early there. Still plenty of downs, though. It's about 2nd and 7. A dump off to the left, spun round, and eventually take it down, Jalen Knox.
He had Burnett wide open, running that angle route. Some offenses like to call it a Texas route out of the backfield. He might still be running.
This time he stays in the lane, and good gain for Trujillo. He's going to have it goal to go as they finally wrestle him down, but not before he gets to the 10-yard line.
Made sure to stay between the hashes that time. Great run by Trujillo. Made up for the misread on the last play. And how about the blocking up front here by St. Joseph? They are definitely making it.
So we're going to have an early timeout here as Iowa starting to see the writing on the walls a little bit. Another goal-to-go situation for St. Joe, and if they hit pay dirt here again, they will have a 2-possession lead, something that St. Joe, quite frankly, has not been able to have a lot of this season. I mean, I'm going to go back to week 1 against the Lunkers, and they had a 1-possession lead in the final seconds on that comeback effort. Same here against Duluth. Last week against Eau Claire, it took all the way down to the final minutes where they went up by 9, and then the game-sealing interception by Clarence Taylor in the end zone to send the Axemen home. And now all of a sudden here, as we still just under 10 and a half to play in the first quarter, and we're 10 yards away from a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, and the offense absolutely clicking, so Iowa's going to need a big-time defensive stand here if they're going to prevent that. Goats coming off that big win last week, shaking off those 2 heartbreaking losses, and now it looks like maybe they got their mojo flowing once more.
That was Burnett, the man in motion, to throw to the end zone, and it is intercepted. Intercepted. Oh, and a promising drive ends in despair for the Goats, and it is Marcel Brooks, the man that comes away with the interception, his now team-leading 6th interception through 4 weeks.
That is the type of big-time defensive stand I was talking about. They needed that desperately. Down 8-0, at risk of going down even further, and a phenomenal play. Big-time players, you know the rest. And he comes away with a big-time play there, does their leading interceptor in Marcel Brooks. That's going to give Iowa just a little bit more life going here.
The big defensive leader behind Rodriguez, DJ Lewis, is Brooks, the man from Dallas, Texas, multiple years around the arena and pro football scene, and he has been a big addition this year for the Woo, making his presence known. Now Rogers trying to strike while the iron taught down the field. It is caught in the end zone, I believe. It is a touchdown for the Woo.
That was incredible.
My goodness.
What a grab in the end zone by Brown. Justin Brown, he's listed at 6'3", playing like he was 7'3" on that play, went up high to reel that one in, and they're going to go for the tie here, go for that 2-point conversion. And I mean, if Brown's got that in his bag here tonight, you might just go right back to him. It's going to be man coverage here.
Brown, the leading receiver, 7 receptions, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. He gets another here. Time running out on Rogers, a throw to the end zone, and it goes incomplete. Do we have the flag? Do not believe so.
Yeah, the ball ricocheted off the back wall, just came right back in about 10 yards onto the field of play. So even with a mild blind spot, able to very quickly identify that that one was not caught.
So the Goats still hold on to the lead 8-6, but, you know, this game, Aaron, it looked like it was going to be going a completely different way if you're a fan or a player of the Woo. And then 2 plays later, you get the interception from Brooks, takes you back close to midfield, and then Rogers airing it out, and down the field he goes to his big target, Justin Brown, 6'3", 210, out of Hillsborough, New Jersey. And all of a sudden, you know, brand new ball game. But this is about what we expected from these two teams, too. I'm sure the point total is just going to keep climbing up. But if you're Iowa, you needed those last 2 plays more than ever so far this season.
It's hard to ever really know what you're supposed to expect when these two teams get together. They just find a way to play the craziest style of games every single time.
Takes a high bounce at about the 2. It's returned for Odom, has a crease, makes another man miss. Near midfield, slung it to the wall, getting to him, number 16, Justin Brown, so doing double duty there. And nice return for Otis Odom.
Yeah, Brown can play a little DB too, so he's not afraid to get down and dirty, make some tackles. Last line of defense against Odom, who's got elite speed.
What's up? Trujillo dumping it off, Knox again, heavy in the receiving game early, and oh, look at that! Oh, he broke free, but they called the play dead as he gets about 4, and Jalen Knox, his second game this year with the Goats, that night would do the Goats big favors in trying to lock down one of those as Trujillo will roll out, throw down the field, has Thompson, and it goes incomplete. Pressure coming on the play from Marcel Brooks as he took Trujillo down to the ground.
Great block on the edge, by the way, as well from Jalen Knox. Absolutely saved Trujillo from a big-time sack in the backfield.
Gets it out quick, Smith. And nice juke, it's hit from behind, but that propels him forward enough to pick up the first down. He needed 6, he got about 7.
Great move initially there from Smith.
No time.
It's that SEC athleticism on display.
It just means more. There's a quick strike there to Lorenzo Thompson. His offense continuing to hum. Now a ball that snapped over the head of Trujillo, and Brooks is going to get on top of it. And another drive ends in a turnover for St. Joseph, their second straight after scoring the opening drive touchdown.
Yeah, both of their drives that have ended in these disasters have been goal-to-go situations. Their one touchdown was from their own 5. So some miscues in the red zone for the Goats as that continues. And their 2-point lead now looking a little precarious.
This offense falling into some familiar patterns as far as penalties have usually been a lot of big drive killers for this offense in the first half, and so far tonight has been turnovers. Pitch it off here. Good solid run.
Yeah,
First introduction for Jeff Mack.
Well blocked on the edge there for Iowa. Love to see the receivers getting down and dirty like that. You don't get big runs without receivers blocking down the field. And that goes quadruply true in Arena League.
First rush of the night for Mack, 5 total touchdowns on the year, 4 rushing, 1 receiving, and all coming back in the Week 2 matchup against Hot Springs. Looking to find the end zone tonight. Rogers, another heave, has a man and gets tangled up, and the flag comes in. He was looking for Devontre Henderson, and in coverage for the Goats, it was Jalen Jordan, and he's going to get tacked with the penalty.
Jordan was trying to argue his case, but I don't know, man. If they can call you for super
Holding. Defense, number 8. 10-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Holding on the defense, it'll be a 10-yard penalty.
Henderson could just absolutely not get himself free as he was trying to leap, swat hands, anything he could do, and he got yanked to the ground. They're going to find you on that one every time if you're Jordan.
And just a 10-yard penalty. It is not a spot foul here in the Arena League, so the chains move up. It's an automatic first down. So they'll set up shop right about the 13-yard line. Powell Depp, the center, also a former Kansas City Goat from a year ago. Now on the woo as the team makes its way here to St. Joe. A throw to the middle of the field, caught, trying to spin around, but breaks a tackle. That's Justin Brown, breaks another and another, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Woo.
Incredible effort after the catch from Brown, who's now got all the points here tonight for the Iowa Woo. Both the touchdowns. They've got the first lead for themselves in this contest. And a pair of St. Joseph mistakes lead to a pair of number 16 touchdowns. And we'll see what kind of point chasing they choose to do here. They're going to go for 2 again.
2 completions on the night for Rogers, both of them to Brown, both of them for touchdowns. They tried the 2-point try last time, wasn't successful. So they will try it again here. Rogers sends Henderson in motion. Steps up, fires.
Wide open.
And it's caught for 2. So he finds it this time to Jeff Mack, so he's good on the 2-point try. And all of a sudden, the Woo have kind of taken the air out of this crowd in the Civic Arena and has flipped this game around. 14 unanswered points for the Woo.
They're taking advantage.
Goats scored first, got the turnover on downs at the Woo. They were at their own 10-yard line, and then an interception leading to the first touchdown for Iowa, and now another Goats turnover leads to the second. As Odom will try to get him started, a good turn as he goes past the 10-yard line. Multiple Woo defenders there to wrap him up. We're going to be calling Justin Brown's name a lot tonight. I just have a feeling he has been a big impact player early so far for the Woo. And now it's about how will this Goats team respond here, and knowing that, hey, fellas, we've been able to move the ball very well. It's just in those goal-to-go situations we've had some costly turnovers. And the last one, the snap that goes over the head, that's just going to make everybody upset and very inexcusable no matter how you want to chalk it up. So got to find a way to correct it here, at least make a strike back.
I'd try a deep shot here.
Gonna dump it off short instead, breaking a couple of tackles. Nice side step pass into Woo territory and inside the 20.
But what do I know? That's going to pick up a nice chunk right there. Great work getting it to Burnett.
Nicely done. Again, short game. It's been working tonight for St. Joe. And again, he finds it to Jalen Knox. Lost his lid there on the play. He'll stay in.
Got to obviously readjust that before they'll give you the ready to go.
And this one will just go incomplete.
Very close to more disaster inside the red zone for the Goats. Really feels like the red zone should be maybe more goal to go in the Arena League on a 50-yard field, but here we are, we're inside the 20 again and very nearly another fumble.
From the 14, strike, finds Smith, gets a big block and will dive into the end zone. Touchdown St. Joe, credit to the block from Lorenzo Thompson.
And once again, saw that Justin Brown was able to get into the end zone for that second time, and now Boo Smith with 2 of his own. Back and forth, the 2 big playmaking receivers for each of these offenses. It's almost like a 2-man shootout right now. I'll go for 2 again. Lots of time.
Rolling out, crossbody throw and incomplete, nearly out the open door and was going to leave the stadium, but the door shut and plenty of time. But it's still 6 points here for St. Joseph, and they do what they need to do, at least tie the game up for the time being. Second of the ball game, and he's got 8 total touchdowns in his last 5 quarters here in the last few weeks in the Arena League, as the throw-off is down the field and brought down as he crosses the 15. Oh, still going. Look at the big fella. Takes a herd of goats to eventually bring him down. Strong running on the return. That's Henderson. Andre Henderson, 6'1", 190 pounds, out of Terrell, Texas, and he was not going to go down easy on that one.
The herd of goats finally brought him and his crew of Woo down. We're pushing him from behind. Justin Brown has been a monster here tonight. Kind of like the idea there of throwing out the wobbler on those throw-offs. Give him kind of a dying duck. They're a little bit more awkward to catch. Obviously reeled that one in nicely, but like the strategy from St. Joe.
Rogers, pressure, and brought down for a sack. Mike Reynolds got there first.
He's been a monster defensively here early on. This first quarter has been the Mike Reynolds show. Already with a batted pass in the backfield. Almost had a pick 6 on that pass. And now a big-time sack will force him into a 2nd and long.
6-yard loss on the play. 2nd and 16 for Rogers and company. Mike Reynolds making his presence known early in this game. And pressure again, and this time he goes down at the 1-yard line.
Unbelievable open field tackle by Antonio Taylor. Came flying off the edge, got him just around the ankles, and oh man, I mean, it looked like maybe for just a moment that Rogers was going to be able to break away from that and do Rogers things.
And even if he did, Reynolds was right there breathing down his neck too. It would have been tough to make. I think fortunately they're saying down at the 1-yard line or the 2, maybe give it just a little bit more real estate, but avoiding the safety. But my goodness, they need to get it to the Goats' 21-yard line, and they are in the shadow of their own end zone. 2 plays to make up the difference as Rogers going to try to go deep. Here he goes down the field. It is intercepted. Goats defense, another takeaway. Clarence Taylor with the convoy, cutting it back. Clarence Taylor, pick 6, touchdown Goats.
And that is what they did all of last season. That's what the defense needed to get back to this year. Taylor turned the interception into points the other way. Don't even bother with your offense. Don't points off turnovers. Turn turnovers directly into points. Run them back yourself. The Goats were excellent at that a season ago, and now as they're trying to get the momentum back, get back to that 1 seed level of play they played at last regular season, here they are again, the defense getting involved. You could see that ball was underthrown a mile away, and Taylor saw it as well, timed the jump beautifully. 6 on the board.
Pressure from the Goats, big on that drive, ending the pick 6 for Clarence Taylor. Now a throw to the end zone on the 2-point try, again, no good. So it's 20-14, Goats retake the lead.
Yeah, threw that one over the curtain. You want to talk about one where only your guy can get it. It would have been a phenomenal catch if Martinez could have gotten to that, but ultimately it ends up as a tip for one of the security guards back there.
Well, you put it in a place where either your guy's going to get it or nobody's going to get it, so not the worst decision there from Trujillo. But, man, what a defensive stand there for St. Joseph with the pressure coming from Mike Reynolds, and then it was Antonio Taylor, back-to-back sacks, and then in the back of his end zone, pressured. Rogers threw up a duck. It was underthrown, and Clarence Taylor was there to pick it off. His 2nd interception of the year for the Goats, his 2nd game suiting up for St. Joseph, and that one he took all the way back for 6 points. Had a nice convoy on the way, and this game, again, this is just the excitement that the Arena League brings, particularly when you get these Goats and Woo teams together, because it's been excitement as long as you and I have been watching them, at least.
This is definitely the rivalry. If you can only get to 1 game per year, try to make sure you get to the Iowa Woo game here in St. Joseph.
A little bit like, it's kind of like an early setting for like one of the hottest rivalries early in the first couple of years here in the Arena League. Is now a big return pending, and he did not. His knee
down.
Did his knee go down? I thought he might have kept it up right past midfield.
I think they're saying that he balanced himself with his elbow, which does also make you down. Anything but the bottom of your feet or the palm of your hand.
A forearm, elbow, any of that, it's going to count, and I think that's what they're going to get Brooks for.
Great effort, though. Phenomenal effort there from Brooks. That would have been quite a response from Iowa right off the bat. You throw the pick 6, go get those points right back on special teams.
So in Goats territory, and Rogers waiting now, runs into his own teammate, and Reynolds trying to wrap him up, trying to get a throw, and he will just hold on to it, and it will go as another sack for Mike Reynolds. How about two? Rock chalk.
I got to give some credit there to Raymond Boone as well. Reynolds will get credit for the sack, but almost got the pass off, did Carlos Rogers, but it was Boone standing right there, forced him to think twice about it. Otherwise, Boone might have just taken the ball out of his hand and run the other way. Great defensive effort again from St. Joe.
Another 6-yard loss. 2nd and 16, trying to get rid of it fast.
Man.
Oh, the Goats are eating it up in the backfield.
What in the world are we watching these last two series?
Brian Foy Jr., welcome to St. Joseph. Making his debut tonight with the Goat. All the pressure here on the Woo. Backed up just 61 seconds ago in the opening quarter. Gets it out, finds his man, able to break a tackle with some breakaway speed. And he's tripped up inside the 5. The last saving grace was Jalen Jordan for the Goats, but not before. I believe it's Justin Brown again that got down the field. Yes, it is. He has been the one offensive playmaker so far here for the Woo.
Yeah, when they've desperately needed a play, it's been 16 every time, and they've got man coverage on him again. Instead, they'll run it. He gets in.
So much needed response there for the Woo. And back hits pay dirt for the first time in a couple of weeks, and a couple of hip thrusts there at the end. Any fans of the Key and Peele sketch will know that, but big response there for Iowa.
Yeah,
Tied ball game again. Will they go for 1 or 2? They got it at the 5, so looks like they're just going to go for the 1-point try.
Brian Foy Jr. trying to see if he could stand directly in front of him during his post-touchdown celebration and draw a flag. Ref wasn't having it, though.
Rogers waits, now going to throw, finds it to Mack, got to make a move. He does, and another up against the wall, stretches the ball out.
Nope.
And no good, so they're going to say when he collided into the wall, the play was marked dead there, so try is no good.
Well defended by St. Joseph. Back to a tie game here, Dylan, and man, just
Usually is the Chargers against the Chiefs, the resident Bears fan. I don't know who it is for you guys, but
nobody.
I get where you're saying, though, as this one will go into the back of the end zone. Touchback, Goats will take over at their own 5-yard line. Multiple ties we've had already, and we're going to have the clock continue to run down, and we are going to pick up play when we come back for the second quarter. Buckle in, folks. 2020 all. In fact, we just had 15 minutes, I should say.
Based on what we already know from these two teams, this is Boo Smith red zone, essentially.
In the back of the end zone, Trujillo throws 50-50 ball, and Lorenzo Thompson will come down with those close to about 80% of the time. He gets tripped up into right near Woo territory, just shy of midfield.
What drop problems? He was feeling them earlier on today, and now suddenly he's unstoppable.
Martinez into the walls again, that same area where we had a fan take a tumble earlier.
It's the same booth.
And
that's the same suite.
I believe so. Thankfully, it looks like this time around everybody's okay. Maybe
they saved the table.
Yeah, maybe an adult beverage had spilled, but neither here nor there. Plenty of time for Trujillo. Surveying around, time starting to run out. Throws Martinez against the wall at the 12, trying to cut it to the middle, and is tripped up before he can get to the 10.
Great play there by Anthony Webb. Untied his shoelace or something from behind and just able to get him on the ground, but enough for a Goats first down.
Now Ryan Martinez starting to get involved in this game in the middle of the field, and that one incomplete, just over the outstretched fingertips of Otis Odom.
Put it just a little bit high. Odom couldn't come down with it. He had Boo Smith on the corner route breaking wide open. I think his eyes just left him a little bit too early.
Martinez, pressure coming from behind, able to get rid of the football, and I believe it is incomplete, and even if it was caught, I think he was actually going to lose a yard. So that's one of the times if you're Jarius Burnett, you're okay with taking the incompletion there.
Yeah, just smack that one to the ground. Nothing good comes of catching one of those.
That's it. Back-to-back incompletions now for Trujillo. Gives it to his man, makes a move, and is tripped up. This time, just give it to Burnett and let him try to make some magic happen. He gets about half of what he needs. Another strike to the end zone, and this time it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Goats. And again, it's Boo Smith, his third receiving touchdown this evening.
Other than a pick six, he's been 100% of their offense to this point. Boo Smith is rolling once again, and they'll go for 2.
4 catches, 3 of them 4 touchdowns. Now Trujillo.
Oh, great block.
Throws, and another nice play in the end zone. This time to Otis Odom. Good on the 2-point try.
So able to connect with that one. 8-point lead for the St. Joseph Goats here, Dylan.
As Thompson, the southpaw, is going to throw it out of bounds. Off a sweet table and into the hands of a nearby fan. That's a nice souvenir to take home, but that's a costly penalty for St. Joseph. That's going to give the ball to the Woo in midfield.
Was an impressive throw, though, to knock that beer directly off the table in air. I mean, if that was a trick shot intentionally, I mean, that's money right there, but something tells me it was not.
This is a problem that all the way back in week 1, the Goats had problems where they had throw-off penalties. I think they had about 5 or 6 of them in that game, and that allowed the Lunkers to set up at short fields and midfield. Haven't really seen it a lot since, but it comes up here. And now a chance for the Woo to strike on a short field. This one just behind the intended target of Jeff Mack. It goes incomplete.
Mack had a lot of space to operate with there. That is a miss that Carlos Rogers is going to want back.
Rogers, pressure, pumps, fires, and caught by Brooks again, and he is wrapped up and brought down after a gain of 5.
So again, they just run that little spot hitch to Mack coming out of the backfield, but this time right on top of him were the Goats, who brought a blitz on that play. 4 men on the rush, almost got home, and the man coverage held behind it.
It has been Justin Brown and Jeff Mack, the only 2 Woo players with a reception tonight. Rogers will signal Mack the motion man and thought about going, fires, hits Mack again, this time for a first down, and they go into the walls.
Letting Jalen Jordan hear about it a little bit after the play as well. That'll move the sticks. Nice done under pressure there from Rogers as well to locate Mack, give him a catchable ball just past the first down marker.
Henderson in motion, and they hand it off, and Mike Reynolds, have yourself a game. He gets in the backfield and swallows up Mack.
Big time play once again by the defensive man of the hour, Mike Reynolds. And again, you've got a 2nd or 3rd down and long for the Iowa Woo. They have got to find a way to stop getting into these situations.
And Reynolds, all Big 12 at KU, spent a brief time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been a monster tonight. A throw to the end zone, and it goes incomplete. Intended receiver, I believe. Down the field was Henderson, and it was. So now 3rd down coming up here as the Garage is going to start getting a little rowdy.
I would be very careful about deep throwaways like that in the direction of Clarence Taylor on the back end. He made you pay for one of those earlier on today, and that was skin-tight coverage on the back end. Definitely look for Justin Brown here for the Iowa offense, and Taylor's on him.
2 downs, get about 15, and pressure coming. Oh, he's able to spin out of that. Now Rogers might take it off and run, and he will. Hurdles, and he gets close inside the 10.
You want to talk about
a bit of Houdini-like there.
A highlight play. Not really sure I understand on a 3rd and long. Your best receiver all day has been Justin Brown, and they had him run a 2-yard hitch. Well covered by Taylor. If I'm the Woo here, Justin Brown has got to run a route where he's getting past that first down marker on this play.
Brown's the man. They're going to try to move in motion, use that big frame of his, all about 6'4". Rogers pressured on 4th down, still alive. Across the field, it's caught right near the marker. He's hammered.
And he did not get it.
Did not get it. Turnover on downs. He was within a yard and a half of the first down, the line to gain. He needed to get to about the 3, and I think he was stopped at the 4.
There's a great job there from St. Joseph pressuring Rogers to his left. They got him far enough out there that even though he had a running lane, rules of the league this year, Dylan, he can't take off and run outside those hash marks. You take that option completely away from him. Well defended by St. Joseph, and then very nearly able to convert it, but a good tackle right after the catch. And St. Joseph with another.
For St. Joe in the win against Eau Claire, as they will start on the ground here. Solid running, hit hard, but nice gain out of the gate here for St. Joe.
Oh, nice shoulder check there from one of the side judges.
Another throw, Boo Smith. Trujillo finds him trying to make a move, tripped up at about the 22.
Boo Smith always seems to save his best for this matchup, doesn't he?
Got a chance to talk to him pregame. He was feeling good. He's trying to go his way again, but it goes incomplete. Again, the stat line he put up last week, it was 12 receptions, a season high, 111 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. He had finally the big Boo Smith breakout game, the league MVP from a season ago. Had a chance to talk with him before the game today, and he says, I'm feeling it. And so far he is, 3 receiving touchdowns. Now it's Martinez and tackled from behind.
I think
Not a whole lot happening in that play.
Iowa's starting to catch on to this screen game that St. Joseph is utilizing. They may want to try to go back to that deep shot sooner or later.
And Burnett, and he is swallowed up, not going to go anywhere.
And Burnett, well, he was slow to get up, but he does manage to get himself up. So now you got a 4th and approximately, I mean, you're talking about maybe a third of the field.
This is
here.
in the territory. Maybe the Goats might surrender this one.
7 minutes, 58 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Rogers with a snap, tosses out to Mack.
Out of
Plenty of
space.
green grass in front of him. Gets a block and another and tumbles over. Actually, one of his big pancake blocks that he was able to pick up. But a good gain on the ground for Jeff Mack. First down and then some.
I don't believe he was actually touched by a St. Joseph player either. So, I mean, in theory, they might have been able to let that one go, but evidently the official on the field believes a St. Joe defender touched him on his way down. I thought he went over the back of his teammate there.
Mack again, this time hard contact. Maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage, if that. I believe Raymond Boone was the one that got in there. Either him or Jalen Jordan, number 8.
Yeah, Jalen Jordan came flying in like a missile. Got big play to play a go, and he was playing angry on that one. Matchup to watch once again, Brown and Clarence Taylor one-on-one toward the bottom of your screen.
Rogers pressured again and wrapped up. Oh my goodness, Mike Reynolds.
Letting us know how many sacks that is here tonight for him. Threw up the 3.
3rd sack for Reynolds, 5th total in the game for St. Joseph. Oh my goodness.
And now they'll really be asking Reynolds to come through big time here. It's 3rd down and long.
And Rogers on that play lost his helmet, was a little shaken up. He put it back on. Now he's going back over to the sideline, maybe just to get a new helmet or maybe come out of the game momentarily, and that appears to be the case. So we should be seeing Vernon Sharp, number 3, and that is who emerges
That's also
off the bench.
Force him to take
The night. Throws, has a man caught. Banged hard against the wall. That's Mack receiving it out of the backfield. Jeff Mack, big gainer there.
They needed that desperately. Another 3rd and long turns into 4th and short. Iowa's been very good at cutting these down. And a big play for the Woo here.
And again, no timeouts to talk this over. So got to get a play here. You need a couple yards to keep the drive alive. Toss out, Mack, Reynolds again. He is unstoppable.
My, oh my. He has given Rob Powell depth on that line quite a bit of work here early on. This first half has been all big number 55 out of the University of Kansas, the ex-Jayhawk, flying high here in St. Joe tonight. Easy forerunner for defensive player of this game. I mean, he might be the overall player of this game.
Led the Jayhawks in his time from 2011 to 2015 in sacks and tackles for losses in 3 of those 4 years. Ranked 5th in the Big 12 in sacks during his time and 1st in the NCAA and Big 12 in forced fumbles.
Woo!
Nice move from Boo Smith, from a Kansas Jayhawk to a Missouri Tiger. Nicely done for Boo. Slippery as they come.
Move didn't net him too many extra yards, but certainly looked nice.
Throw, Thompson caught, immediately pushed into the wall, but he holds on to it. It's just past midfield. Goats in business.
Survived the contact with the wall. Great catch once again. Oh, we got a defensive player lined up offside on the snap.
Flag is down. They dumped it off quick. Down to Oda, wrapped up immediately by Brooks, but that penalty is going to come in here, and that should be the first of the game on the Woo.
Offsides, defense number 0, 5-yard penalty, first down.
There is the first penalty of the night on the Woo. Free 5 yards for St. Joseph.
Just not enough hustle getting back to their own side after the previous play.
Pressure, Trujillo steps up through it, pitches it backwards. Martinez lowers the shoulder. Little chirping after the play for Cooksey, number 14. But Ryan Martinez able to pick up about 6.
Juan Moore was coming in afterwards. He had some ill intentions for Ryan Martinez, but Martinez able to avoid that by a couple of inches.
Trujillo hit as he throws, and it goes incomplete. A tandem of Woo players in the backfield. First one to get there was Juan Moore, number 15, and then number 2, Rodrigo DJ Lewis, a former walk-on at the University of Alabama, a national champion under legendary head coach Nick Saban. Martinez with space, bobbled it and dropped.
I don't know how much space he was going to have to work with, even if he caught that ball. Well defended there by Iowa, and now on 3rd down and long, they need to get down to about the 3-yard line here.
Surveying Trujillo, avoiding the rush, throws, intercepted. Trying to find his man Jarius Burnett, but it's picked off. The second interception tonight for the Woo, and it's Anthony Webb, another Jayhawk out of KU.
And I think
Mack in the backfield right of Rogers sends Henderson in motion. Rolls out to the left, pitches it forward to Mack. Plenty of space for him. Midfield and more. Jeff Mack with a head of steam and is taken down past the 15.
That's a big-time play there. Iowa starting to cook a little bit here. We're ticking down toward 3 minutes to go here in the first half, down by just 8, thanks to their defense keeping them alive. And that's the type of play that can really spark you offensively, but now they got to find a way to actually complete one of these red zone trips.
Mack has been the threat, rushing, receiving. He's been doing it all alongside Los. Now a throw to the end zone. It's high. He goes up and gets it. Oh, that's a terrific touchdown catch.
There's good coverage back there by Clarence Taylor, too, and Brown just made a perfect grab off of an absolutely flawless throw from Carlos Los Rogers. Whew. And it's a 2-point game. We're one more big Justin Brown jump ball away from a tie game.
Third receiving touchdown tonight for Justin Brown. Used every bit of that reach to go up and get it. Perfectly placed ball by Rogers. Either Brown was going to get it or nobody was. Looking to tie the game up, going for the 2-point try. Rogers pressured, steps up, breaks through, has a man, throws to the back of the end zone, and it is eventually caught, and it's a good conversion, and I believe that's JoJo Olbrice. I thought he was going to throw it to him. He was wide open, and then he was thrown to the receiver in the back of the end zone with tight of Hot Springs down in Arkansas. So
that might just be the legitimate score, the way that Hot Springs plays defense.
It could. It very well could be. Here's a high bounce. It goes out of the end zone into the Goats bench area. So late chirping there at the end, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Goats taking over after 5. So turnovers will hurt you at any level of this game. Arena, normal, however you want to call it up, turnovers will hurt you. They have hurt the Goats tonight, and quite frankly, have been the big reason to keep this Iowa Woo team in this ballgame right now. 3 forced turnovers, and now have been able to cash in for 3 touchdowns.
Big time pressure there. Got in on Trujillo early. Forced him into the back wall as well, but thankfully able to get the pass off before he made any contact with that mat.
Barely had any time to take a breath. Now pressure again, batted, and it drops incomplete. It had potential pick 6 written all over it.
I think, unfortunately for Iowa, that was 2 of their own defenders running into each other, forcing that to be an incomplete pass.
That's the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout is going to be the call here. 28-28 ball game. The Goats still trying to get out of the shadow of their own end zone. And if you're the Woo defense, you're thinking here, you can hold it to a minimal game here. More than likely, if you're St. Joseph, I think you're going to be taking that surrender option once again. You get the ball back, maybe you get a chance to try to score again, if not multiple times. You can score a lot in a minute, 57 seconds. We've seen that plenty of times through the now second year into the Arena League here. But, man, St. Joe right now, priority number one, just trying to take care of the football. The 3 costly turnovers. It's been 2 interceptions and that 1 fumble on a bad snap that went over the head of Trujillo. And all 3 turnovers that ended in touchdowns for St. Joseph. Just 1 turnover tonight, and that was a pick 6, also ending in points, as Rogers had a ball underthrown. Clarence Taylor for the Goats was able to run it back for 6 points on the pick 6. So 4 total turnovers, 4 total touchdowns, and any single one of those might be a big thing when we look back at the end of this game. Whoever ends up coming out victorious, we can look back at a play like that and say that was the turning point, or that was the difference. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, it's a great crowd here tonight at the Civic Arena in the heart of downtown St. Joseph, Missouri. Second regular season home game of 4. We got another one next week. The 28th will be off the 4th of July weekend, and then back here July 12th for the final regular season matchup. Final 2 road games to wrap up the regular season after that, and then first weekend in August. Hoping to be back here in St. Joe. It will be playoff time here in the Arena League, as Aaron, you and I know very well this Goats team feels like they got some unfinished business after their early exit from last year.
Yeah, obviously not the way that they wanted that to end at the hands of this Iowa team, who last year, going into that playoff game, had 1 win on the season. They've already doubled that here 3 weeks into here.
Quick strike here to Thompson, able to give him some space and room to manage. Quick hitter for Lorenzo Thompson will give him about 5. Got to have it here for St. Joe in his end zone. Gets out of it. Wide open is Odom with plenty of space. Looking to turn on the after boosters. Lamar Odom. Otis Odom, I should say. Nicely done. Able to get out in space and run it.
What a play by Trujillo as well, keeping his eyes downfield. Found his man on the far side. Big conversion. And then immediately a great defensive play right afterwards made by DJ Lewis.
Yeah, that's big, and that puts him back 5 yards, too. Trujillo, another throw, caught. Burnett diving close to the 10.
That's been the strength of Trujillo to this point, has been his mobility in the pocket, able to extend plays and then find dump-offs.
Second catch tonight for Burnett. This time Thompson, and he drops it. It hit him right in the chest.
Thompson, second drop here tonight for big number 6. He's had a couple of real nice catches, but now a pair of drops. That would have been a chain mover as well, so that one stings, especially depending on what happens here on this 4th down play.
Trujillo quick fires, has a man. Martinez makes a man miss and will stroll into the end zone. Touchdown St. Joe with 30 seconds to go in the half.
Well, that'll make it a little bit easier to get over it. Ryan Martinez, a play later, finds the end zone. Now he finds a fan, a specific fan from the looks of it. He wanted to get that ball to. And now he's got to run back into the huddle for this 2-point play. So once again, the Goats able to take this 6-point advantage. 27 seconds left here in the first half.
And a whistle comes in here, a halting play for a moment. Everyone kind of looking around to see. And it is a 2-point try here for St. Joseph. Now we're ready to go. Trujillo rolls out. Across the field, Thompson is there, had a couple of Goats. Oh, and Thompson takes a hard hit, taps the helmet of Marcel Brooks. Mutual respect being showed there. Lost his mouthpiece in there. That's how hard he got rocked. Perfect hit there for Marcel Brooks, so the 2-point try is no good. So it's back to a 6-point lead here for St. Joseph.
Yeah, it was just well defended by Iowa. I think he was wanting to go to Odom on the corner route initially, but the corner was dropping right back into the throwing lane. He decides to go far side, probably the best bet he had a blocker, had a big receiver with some run after catch ability. Thompson, though, just unable to get around the final tackler there. And of course, as you mentioned, took a big time hit in the process.
Seen him many times, Trujillo. He kind of throws back across his body and over across the field. And usually, if you ask any offensive-minded coach or just a coordinator in general, they'll say that's kind of the cardinal sin of a quarterback. But Trujillo's been able to get away with it so far. He had 2 goats in the area. There was Thompson there who got the catch, and I didn't catch the number of the other player, but right after he was able to spin off one hit, but then Marcel Brooks came in, put a shoulder right into his chest, and kept him from trying to spin off into the end zone. So 34-28 is the score off the unsuccessful 2-point try so far for St. Joseph. 1 for 4. Both teams actually 1 for 4 in 2-point tries tonight. We got another throw-off pinning here. Thompson, the last one he had, it went into the stands, and that was a penalty that set up Iowa at midfield. So trying to keep it in play this time to Marcel Brooks, who's back to receive. Nice high arcing throw, and Brooks will just let it bounce for a touchback.
So from their own 5, oddly enough, that's where St. Joseph's done most of their damage offensively. The red zone's been a bit of a curse to them, but for Iowa, we'll see how they're able to try to play the long ball game.
And 3 drives in this second quarter, 2 turnovers on downs, and they got the touchdown the last drive thanks to that interception from Anthony Webb. Now at their own 5, and you know the move, they're going to want to try to strike and get down the field early. It's a potential chance to kind of double dip on scoring because they will also receive the ball in the second half throw off. And 28 seconds here in the Arena League. Still plenty of time to work with. Only downside is no timeouts for Iowa, so you got to be very careful about how you go about doing this.
Let's hear St. Joe defense.
So here we go with Rogers, his heels right in front of his own goal line, back to his left. Drops back to throw, pressure coming. Rogers will roll out, fires down the field, has a man, deflected and hung up in the air just enough, and good defense there for St. Joe, able to knock it away.
Yeah, they've now got a double team working on Mike Reynolds.
That was Malik Wilson in coverage for St. Joseph from Gardenson, Alabama. He was returning his second year here with the Goats. Nice defensive play made there on coverage.
Might be a prime opportunity for St. Joe if they bring 3 here, and they will.
Blitz coming and able to get rid of it. Has a man, oh, and it's dropped. That's been the security blanket all night. Tried to go to Justin Brown. It would have been a first down and then some past midfield.
Clarence Taylor in coverage. That's been a battle all day. Point for him on that one. And as I mentioned, St. Joseph, they saw Mike Reynolds was starting to generate a double team up front. So they said, well, you're leaving 3 blockers in, and you're going to use 2 of them on 1 guy. We'll bring 3 guys on the rush. Made him throw it a little bit quicker than he wanted, and then a great play on the back end. Bringing 5 here.
Pump fakes, throws, sidearm is complete. Just shy of the 15-yard line, wrapping him up. Wilson again. That's JoJo Olabrice.
That'll be half.
4th and short going to be coming up, and that is half, so not going to matter. So we go to the halftime locker room. 34-28 is your score. This game has been back and forth all throughout multiple times, but it sees St. Joseph take the lead into the locker room. 34-28. We'll talk about this first half. Iowa, it's usually been Lorenzo Thompson, the throw-off man for St. Joseph. He's in the end zone and ready to fire this one away, and there it goes in the area. We'll skip inside the 5 and into the back of the end zone. Brooks will scoop it up and now looking to run. Has a seam and is hit down hard by Jarius Burnett. And Brooks a little slow to get up, but he's going to be helped up by his teammates and able to get over to the sideline all good. But nice hit there from Burnett.
Burnett's been flying around down there, offense and defense. Well, I guess special teams, not really official defense, but not afraid to get his nose dirty. And now speaking of defense, Let's get another look at that St. Joe pass rush coming out of the gates.
Let's see it. 5 sacks in that first half. What will they start out here with? Rogers gets it out quickly. No surprise with how we were just talking about that fierce pass rush, and they get it out quickly into the hands of Justin Brown, who picks up about half of the yards you need.
That's how you combat it. Come out, just get the ball out of your hands quickly. Don't let Taylor, Boone, and Reynolds tee off on you.
6 receptions of the night for Justin Brown, 3 touchdowns. Rogers to throw again, pressure again.
Uh-oh.
He throws it, it's intercepted. This time, taking it back for St. Joe. It's Malik Wilson breaking tackles in another, and finally hit from behind. Ball came out, and this is going to be Iowa Woo football.
Oh, man. It looked like Wilson had a convoy going. If he just went right up the sideline, he cut it back into the middle of the field. I don't really know why. And it might cost, and I think it's going to cost him possession of this football.
It is.
Underthrown ball. Wilson made a great play, makes the interception, and then the fumble returning it. Oh, Chargers fans, look away. Might be a dated reference at that point. I think that play's 19 years old now, but.
So Rogers, new hope, down the field, overthrown, incomplete, looking for Henderson. So, I mean, not too often you can say you throw the interception. It was a great return for Wilson, who took it right around. You know, it was inside the 20, close to the 15, inside the 15 perhaps. And then the very next play, you just get to take over. It's a new drive, new set of downs, fresh start.
Well, in first play, your fresh start ends in an incomplete pass. So once again, the pressure was getting into the backfield, and once again.
Oh, no. Oh, how about that, Mike Reynolds? He said, look what I got.
Oh, my goodness. And we got a little scuffle going on as well as someone's getting a free souvenir. Oh, going back, give up the vertebra. The spine against the chairs from that fan. But he's got a new football as they separate the two teams, and what a play by this Goats defense. We talked about it, the pressure up front, getting into the backfield. Ball ends up on the turf, and Mike Reynolds, why not? Because why wouldn't it be Mike Reynolds today of all days? He's been doing everything else, and he's going to find himself in the end zone. Now the offense has to come out cold here, Dylan, for this two-point conversion.
So far, how about that Goats defense?
Uh-oh.
And how about that on the two-point try? No good. It is intercepted, but not going very far. Oh, my goodness.
These games give you a little bit of everything.
It is now 40-28. It's the two-possession lead, first time tonight for either team. And the road of how we got there is just, it's quirky. I don't know how else to say it. It was a little quirky, but you will take it nonetheless. Interception, fumble on the return, give the ball back. You had the incompletion, and then a fumble put on the ground and scooped up by Mike Reynolds of all Goats tonight, on his way to Week 4 MVP honors for the team, I would think, with now 3 sacks and a scoop and score. And now another throw off on the way here for Thompson. Grazed the rafters up top, and that goes out of bounds.
So whether they ruled that it hit the ceiling or it didn't, either way, it's going to be out of bounds.
As they're going to move that ball up to midfield.
Would have been interesting to see how they would have ruled it if it had not landed in the fans over there, because officially, if it touches the ceiling, that's supposed to be a dead ball and a penalty. And you're going to have to make an official really squint and make a tough choice on a play like that. But evidently, ball just ended up making it easy for everybody. Oh, man.
Pressure again, but able to get around. Penalty flag comes in. This could be for a potential holding or a face mask, one of the two. It was definitely in the territory for either one of those calls on the run for Jeff Mack. But we got flags on the field, so let's see what the officials sort this out. Indication from Reynolds is that it is against the Woo, and they are starting to back up themselves. So looks like we're going to be in the area of a holding call. Or
I believe right at the edge right there, Raymond Boone got his jersey, grabbed something fierce as he was trying to get off his block and make a play, but now, changing their mind.
Yeah, it was against the Goats. Say the Woo players were initially starting to back up, and then the official that's all the way in the backfield of on the defensive side, nearest to us, was pointing and indicating this is where the ball was going to go. So penalty against the Goats keeps the drive alive here for Iowa. Trying to respond after being down 2 scores for the first time. Mack trying to run it in himself, and he will. Touchdown, Woo.
Uncontested right into that end zone. That was one of the easier rushing touchdowns you're going to see in the Arena League.
Oh,
Perfect blocking outside by his receivers as well. And Iowa needed that desperately.
So for Mack, his 2nd touchdown tonight, 7th total touchdown. He was held scoreless for the past 2 weeks, all 5 of his previous touchdowns back in week 2. It's pay dirt for the 2nd time here tonight. Now Rogers rolling out, Antonio Taylor right on top of him as Rogers just kind of slipped, and Taylor on top of him to call the play dead. Another 2-point conversion does not go the way of the Woo.
His receivers just weren't helping him on that one. Nobody got open off the designed route tree, and then no one was really working afterwards. You kind of saw a lot of pitter-pattering of feet. A lot of guys just kind of standing there waiting to see if, I don't know, defenders would just evaporate out of thin air in front of them. And Rogers, absolutely no choice, just had to hit the deck.
So that's already the 3rd drive of this 2nd half for Iowa. We haven't seen the Goats offense officially on the field yet. That's about to change here on this pending throw-off. Sweet Caroline now gracing the beautiful speakers here inside of the Civic Arena. Getting the crowd back into it here. 40-34, back to a 1-possession game. What's new? Goats still with the lead, looking to build on it here, getting the ball back. Their first drive in the 2nd half as Odom will go back on the return. One of the top throw-off returners in the league, averaging about 20 yards per return. Lets this one skip at about the 3 and goes up and over the back of the end zone. Did anybody touch it?
That's a safety.
Yeah,
So
safety
They said Odom chose to field it of his own volition, which means you have to advance it out. Tackled in the end zone in this league is not a touchback. The only way you're getting a touchback is to not play the ball. He did and was tackled in the end zone. A safety came up huge, as you mentioned in the pregame, in these two's postseason clash last year. And once again, St. Joseph burned by the safety rules on the throw-off. And again, it's against Iowa. And now Iowa, after that touchdown, got themselves back to within 1 score, are going to get the ball back immediately.
So we still have not seen the St. Joe offense out on the field officially in this 2nd half.
Well, apart from a conversion attempt, I suppose.
Outside of that, that's true. But this is
a wild start to this 2nd half.
You could say that again.
This is a wild start to that 2nd half. You were right, I could. I was able to. Now we'll see if St. Joseph's defense can come up huge for him again. Oh, man, what a play.
That's Malik Wilson getting down, wrapping him up, and not letting them get much further, just past the 15 to the 16, and that is where the Woo will take over. Miraculously, their 4th possession here in the 3rd quarter already, as we are under 12 to play. Goats defense looking to make another stop after giving up the touchdown, stopping them on the 2-point conversion, and then the safety on the throw-off. So it is now 40-36, so a touchdown alone will give the Woo back the lead.
I love this matchup.
This is awesome. Mack, he's been busy all night tonight, up against the walls at midfield, right around that area.
Got a huge chunk of it there. Suddenly, that's become a big part of their offense now. That toss play to Mack, their receivers are blocking like maniacs on the edge. I'd keep going back to it until the Goats show you they can stop it, especially with their pass rush being as relentless as it is.
The best overall rushing team tonight for Iowa, but give credit to St. Joe. They've been able to blow some plays up in the backfield when they need to as well. A loss of multiple yards, and again, getting back there, it's big number 8, Jalen Jordan.
That's the play, though, I don't really care for that they've run today, is that power off, I guess, tackle power off guard, whatever you want to call it. That play, St. Joseph has been all over it all day today. It's been that toss sweep short side to Mack that's been successful. I'd stick with it.
Rogers throws, hit as he was thrown, able to beat one man, avoids the shoestring tackle inside the 10 down to the 5 and is wrestled down eventually on the play. That was Brian Floyd Jr. One that was able to bring him down, but a big gainer. Goal to go from the 4 coming up for Iowa.
Quick substitution coming for St. Joseph. Raymond Boone back out there, Jordan back off.
Rogers talking over with Mack, switches it from his left to the right. Mack, handoff, Goats there at the 1, he dives out and they're gonna mark him short. He's gonna be stopped at the 1 yard line. Again, there is constant chirping after every single play. This has been a chippy physical matchup, no doubt.
I would be absolutely shocked if Mack does not just get handed this football right into his gut and allowed to get north and south quickly with it. From I mean, you're not even a full yard away. You're about half a yard. 2nd and goal. Beat him.
This has taken the lead on the next score written all over it. They're stacked up on that right side, and the Goats able to get in the backfield. They stop him short, pretty much no gain. I don't know if he really lost yardage, but Clarence Taylor, nice job stunning the gap, if you will. Able to halt him right at the 1, so officially no gain.
This is where it's big. If you're Iowa, you still have 2 downs to get this. It was 1 play there. I wouldn't get away from it. Just keep running this football and see if you can impose your will 1 time.
Pretty much same formation they just had, and this time Rogers will roll out, looking to throw back in the end zone, and it is...
I think that went off the wall.
They're calling it a touchdown.
Oh. And then a flag comes in. I thought that went off the wall then into his hands, and that's what the confusion was, but they're going to say he caught it clean. So that'll be Iowa's lead, and then we'll check the flag.
Have you happened to catch the number that caught the pass, partner?
That I have not.
I have not either. It was an instant just kind of scrum of players on the play initially, and then the flag was thrown, some extracurriculars after. Woo players started to celebrate, but nice nifty play design. They line up in the exact same formation. Rogers keeps it, rolls out to throw. Pressure again.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 26, St. Joe. That penalty will be forced on the throw off, half the distance.
So Jalen Knox is going to be tacked with the unsportsmanlike conduct, so he's got to be careful because one more and he will be booted out of the game. But the big story right now is the Woo have retaken the lead 42-40. And those are boo, not woo calls that are echoing out here inside the Civic Arena.
I don't think the fans in attendance cared for the call, but we don't all necessarily hear what's being said down on the field.
You kind of had that feeling just saying after every single play as this game has gone along, there's been a little bit more chippiness, a little more jawing, that eventually something was going to spill over, and it was on that play right there. On 3rd and goal from the 1, it was a throw from Rogers into the back far right corner of the end zone. And now the Woo are just going to go for 1 to take their lead up to 3. Pressure from St. Jill over the middle, incomplete. He had not 2, but 3 Woo receivers in the area. Brown, Mack, and Henderson to round out the trifecta.
It looked like he threw it between Brown and Mack. He had Mack wide.
On the rules, as to if you field it in the end zone and then decide not to, the safety will be called for, so. Trying to avoid that here. It skips at about the 8. Taken here, Odom stumbles. He crosses the 5. Nobody touch him. Gets back up and run. He goes back to the 12-yard line into the wall. And that is where officially this St. Joe offense will take over.
So the first time we've gotten a look at an official drive for the St. Joseph Goats after 4 offensive possessions officially in the stat sheet for the Iowa Woo.
Still Trujillo, the quarterback. He was just shy of 40 pass attempts in that first half. Gonna pass it here to open it up. Over the middle, caught. Burnett tripped up. Nice gain of about 7 out of the gate.
That's a good drive starter right there. Get it to one of your playmakers, get a decent chunk, get your offense feeling good, and then fast back on the ball.
Pressure, and he is not going to be able to get away. That's DJ Lewis, the Crimson Tide man. Collects his first sack of the night.
It's third down and 6 for the Goats.
Off the sack, Trujillo. Thompson wrapped up immediately after he catches it. Gain of a couple. So
interesting decision here.
See where they put this down. You're going to be close to about a 4th and 4. Fourth and 4. They're going to go Trujillo over the middle. Over the outstretched arms of Burnett. And Thompson open down the field. Kind of shrugs his shoulders as he thought he should have gotten that ball. But the Goats, their first drive here in the second half, and they go 4 and out.
Burnett just mistimed the jump. He was in the air well before that ball was getting to him, and then he was going back down toward the ground when it finally arrived at his hands. You gotta read that ball out of your quarterback's hand a little bit better. You can't mistime the jump on a 4th down like that. And now Iowa, I mean, you want to talk about a massive swing in momentum.
We're getting right about to that territory, Aaron.
Oh, man.
And Mike Reynolds, Malik Wilson there to wrap up that loss, but Mike Reynolds, he has just been a phenom right there in the middle of the defense for St. Joe.
Yeah, and Iowa, one of the few teams that they don't use a tight end as their snapper as a pass eligible. They've got a full-fledged center, offensive lineman. That's what he's there for. A dedicated blocker. He does not go upfield. And it hasn't mattered. Mike Reynolds has just been beating him.
That's Rob Powell Depp out of Southern Alabama. He was with the Goats last year, so all through training camp, it was Powell Depp versus Mike Reynolds, two guys very familiar with one another. Throw to the end zone, looking for his man.
Got it.
Touchdown, Iowa. This game has been flipped on its head.
No big-time points for correctly guessing the man who went up and made that contested catch as Justin Brown once again comes down with a toughie. And Iowa, man, I mean, the way this thing started with the Mike Reynolds defensive touchdown absolutely felt like suddenly St. Joseph had all the momentum in the world, and suddenly, I mean, it's a safety has just flipped this game between these two squads.
That kind of opened the floodgates, if you will.
So it might need to be more fourth quarter magic from St. Joe if they want an opportunity to win this one. Especially if they give up 2 points here and turn it into a multi-possession game.
Rogers scrambling, peeling out. Oh, maybe. Rogers, now he's got a lane. He can take it, and he will.
Big-time play there from Rogers.
It has now been an outscoring since the second half started, 22-6 in favor of the Woo. And now in a blink of an eye, it's a two-possession lead for Iowa. And now some more words being said as there was a little bit of like a Dion-esque putting the football on the Dallas Star and kind of posing there, if you will. Yeah. Some taunting. That's the best way to put it. And this game, it's got no shortage of emotion whatsoever.
The old Terrell Owens when he was a 49er scoring on the...
Not Dion Terrell Owens, you're right.
But, yeah, shocked there was no penalty either way there as Rogers took the ball to the midfield logo, set it down on the goat head, used it as a pillow like he was taking a nap in the middle of the field, and Mike Reynolds took exception to it, ran up, smacked the ball full force out from underneath Rogers' head. Officials, though, let all of it play out. And so a 10-point Woo lead, and now we're going to need to see if St. Joseph has an answer in their back pocket.
And all of the energy has just been sucked out of this arena as well from at one point in that first half, two-possession lead for St. Joe, their first lead at halftime, to now all of a sudden you blink, a 22-6 run later to start this third quarter, and now you're down 10 points. But a good chance to make up some ground here. Second official offensive drive. They went 4 and out. Woo then turned around and scored. after taking over in St. Joseph territory.
So they do have a 45-yard touchdown in this game. That was the first touchdown of the game to Boo Smith. Not out of the realm of possibility for a big play offense here like St. Joseph.
Haven't taken a shot downfield pretty much since that play. It's been more kind of the short game, screens, middle of the field, but they go to Boo Smith there, and he gets 5. And if you're going to pick up 5 every play, that's okay. You'll take that every single time, but trying to go with a little more short game and up-tempo. Trujillo will run with it, and he is spun down.
Nicely done to kind of tightrope that hash mark. You saw him keeping his feet in, treating it as though it were the sideline in a regulation-style game to make sure he got over the line of scrimmage legally.
Third rush of the game, all for 10 yards for Trujillo. Fires. Thompson, another drop. That one a little bit off to his side. It hit him in the hands. Defense was right there breathing down his neck. The closest man was Marcel Brooks. So we'll re-chalk it up for 2nd and 10.
Certainly one Thompson's going to want back, but this press coverage on the outside has certainly also limited St. Joseph's ability to go deep. Their receivers have just been tied up at the line of scrimmage on every play.
This little move from Burnett, but not able to get far enough away as he's wrapped up again by Vaughn Moore, who was able to get away for a brief moment.
You see it especially on the outside. Whoever that outside receiver is, right now it's Odom. He's just getting beat up by those corners out there.
Burnett, 3 Woo defenders, and that ball comes out at the end. This is a live ball, and right now it could be a potential scoop and score with a block, and that is exactly what it is.
That is an interesting call. It certainly looked like, if nothing else, his foot had hit the wall already before the ball came out.
And that is what the Goats team, that's what they're trying to say and protest. Now some fans starting to voice their displeasure.
I don't think we had an official who had their eyes on the play, but as Odom was going off the field, looked like Marcel Brooks gave him a shot to the side of the helmet, but all the officials were preoccupied discussing the previous ruling.
And they're going to go for 2 here, so this play is going to stand. And my goodness, I mean, how a game can just change in a matter of moments in this league, and this has just gone the exact opposite of how you wanted the second half to go if you were St. Joseph. Your first time with the lead at halftime, all the momentum on your side. You get a scoop and score touchdown on defense, and it has been all Woo ever since. Penalty flag comes in, will stop the play.
And a false start against Iowa.
Only the 2nd penalty of the game for Iowa. That run, by the way, now up to 30-6 in the second half for Iowa. Pending this extra point try. Now a 2-point try from the 15 thanks to the 5-yard false start penalty. Only regular season meeting between these two. All Woo here in the 3rd. From his own territory, Rogers rolls out, gets past midfield, looking for some blockers, now fires it to the end zone, and it was incomplete.
Wasn't sure if you could see it around the blind spot there, partner.
I saw a ricochet back up in the air. I assumed that it was either that or he quickly caught it, just kind of threw it up as a celebratory motion, but that was not the case, so.
Well, if nothing else, that'll keep it a 2-possession game here for St. Joseph. And we talked about it. They're going to need some more of that 4th quarter magic that they've had in a couple of comebacks that came up a bit short. And it's really just all been self-inflicted wounds and a, let's call it questionable fumble there along the wall.
I mean, you've had that play. You've had the safety. You could throw that in there too as kind of like a head scratcher moment as to was it actually a safety or just for the return man Odom of just let that go, touchback. But you know, there definitely some breaks have not gone the way of the Goats. But no matter how you want to chalk it up, I mean, 5 total turnovers, all 5 of them resulting in touchdowns for Iowa.
Well, in the case of the touchback, you certainly can't blame the officials or the opposing team for that one. Got to know the rules of the league you play in. If you're Odom, self-inflicted wound there for St. Joseph. Certainly you want to just keep a hold of the football. I'm still absolutely shocked that they didn't rule that his foot had at least hit the wall before he fumbled that football. Even further, it looked like he was at least down.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in the past where maybe they like to review or at least take it up to the sky judge, and if he sees something that can overturn the play pretty convincingly, we've seen that happen, but I guess they took a look and a glance at it and decided play was going to stand. This is still just a 16-point game despite the drastic turnaround, 30-6 run for the Woo here in the third quarter. They have taken over the lead and then some, but for St. Joe here, just get a touchdown and get the momentum rolling back. You're going to start feeling a lot better. Look out, Mr. Official. Ryan Martinez coming right into the kitchen.
And you can tell St. Joe is trying to get a deep ball route going on a lot of these plays, and there isn't the separation downfield that they're accustomed to their receivers getting.
Trujillo steps up in the pocket, avoids the sack, throws, and nice catch on the roll for Boo Smith, who picks up the first down.
Incredible play by Trujillo to get that pass off. He had Smith for most of that play.
Just 2 catches in the second half, 13 yards for Boo Smith. Down the field again, there he is. Another sliding grab into Woo territory. Goats starting to hum.
They're putting him in the slot now, not using him as a blocker anymore. They're letting him play out wide, and he is just eating on these deep routes.
Trujillo fires, hit again. He was tripped up. Down to play, Trey Harlan, big number 0, getting pressure.
Probably a great play there by Trujillo just to put that one into the turf beads. Play for second down and 10.
2 receivers out on the left side. Time for Trujillo, throws, has a man, caught! Touchdown, St. Joseph, Otis Odom.
They needed that. Otis Odom running the corner route. Smallest player on the field, and he makes one of the biggest plays of the second half for the St. Joseph Goats. And now this is a big 2-point conversion here, Dylan.
Needed here, fires, intercepted. Not really a goat around in the area. Now barring a big return here, and there won't be. So it just stays 6 points picked up here. Flags thrown at the end, multiple flags coming in. We can have some more personal foul penalties being ushered in here by these officials. We'll see what happens. Right now it's a 10-point game, 34 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Lorenzo Thompson seems fairly convinced that he drew the penalty, and that will be the call. It's against the Iowa Woo. So that'll likely be enforced here off the throw-off, as there are free t-shirts to be had. Crowd comes to their feet.
T-shirts, mini footballs being thrown out all around the arena tonight, and that was much needed there for St. Joseph, because now you're back within 10, and now for that defense, I mean, you're a big Mike Reynolds potential strip sack, or you've gotten a couple of interceptions, just anything like that, just to slow down the momentum of the Woo. Find a way to hold them scoreless, get the ball back, let Trujillo and that offense really starting to find their stride again after that last drive, maybe. We'll see what happens. Still, where it stands right now, a 2-possession lead at 10 for Iowa, 56-46.
Perhaps a safety on a throw-off would
Anything.
not be.
You will take it however you can get it. Thompson will heave this one away, and oh man, that goes not even past midfield.
What I think he's doing there is he just took the throw out of bounds, which would normally put it at the 25, but then you take the 15-yard penalty, it automatically puts it back at the 10-yard line. So basically, you're just eradicating Iowa's ability to get a big return and get better field position than that.
Yeah. So nicely done. Well done, partner. Able to call that up there. So not giving the Woo any chance for a big return. You just throw it out of bounds, and now Iowa will take over 1st and 10 at their own 10. Goats defense looking for a big play. They got a scoop and score fumble recovery here in this third quarter. Pressure coming wide open, and he might be gone. 10-5. One play was a score. Touchdown, Iowa. My goodness, blown coverage on the play, and going all the way down the field to score was JoJo Olabryce.
Well, that's part of the risk when you bring the heavy blitz like St. Joseph did once again, looking for that strip sack that you had kind of alluded to. We're trying to get a big play defensively. And unfortunately, that time Iowa read it right off the snap.
I mean, minimal time burnt, too. I mean, 12, 13 seconds was all that was burnt there. And the clock continues to run here, so this conversion is going to be the final play of the third quarter unless they get it off. 2 seconds, 1 second, no snap, and now a whistle will come in. Not sure if Rogers was completely aware of that or not, but we go to the fourth quarter. 4's up here in the Civic Arena in St. Joseph. The Woo have taken over. Right side, plenty of time for Rogers. Now time running out, trying to make a move to get away, avoids a shoestring tackle. Another throws it, and it's way over the head of anybody and out of play. So again, 36-6 is the official run for the Woo right now. And we talked about the importance of this game. This is the only regular season matchup between these two teams. Right now, Iowa on the way. If they hold on to the 62-46 lead, they're going to move to 3-1 on the year. Meanwhile, for St. Joseph, they're going to fall to 1-3 and 0-2 here in the Civic Arena in St. Joseph. Always so important to defend the home turf whenever you can. And I mean, I've always heard the difference of 2 quarters or whatever, 1 half to the second half. I mean, just that third quarter alone, it was a Woo takeover, and it's taken all the energy out of this home crowd, and now backs against the walls here for St. Joe trying to make this comeback.
And we'll certainly see. Fourth quarter's been their friend for the most part this year. Almost playing a reverse of their usual script. Came out firing on all cylinders early, and the second half has been giving them issues. But we'll see if they can return to old form and come up with a big comeback here in this fourth quarter.
Throw off is away. Odom touched it, takes a high bounce. Now it comes out of the end zone, and
man,
I believe the Woo player recovered it. Oh my goodness, it's going to be Iowa football at the 1-yard line. Oh no.
This is unfortunately one of the sloppier games we've ever seen out of the St. Joseph Goats.
I think to say in the history of the Goats, that includes last year in Kansas City and here, I mean, this is just unbelievable, and some tough luck and bounces and questionable bang plays here and there. That has been it, and that is the second time that on a throw-off, it has gone against the Goats. The one was taken for a safety, and now this one, it came out on the high bounce into the field of play, recovered by Iowa at the 1. And now a potential play away from, well, could very well put the game away. We'll have to wait and see. 62-46 is where it stands right now. Pressure wide open is Henderson.
That was an easy one, and we got some boo birds flying here in St. Joe. Now it's going to take a real powerful comeback attempt.
I mean, we're talking where it stands right now. 42 points scored here for Iowa in the last 16 minutes or so of game time. Not even that, 15 and a half. And some fans are now starting to make their way out of here in the Civic Arena. Pressure. Knox is on top of him and eventually goes down as Rogers.
Good pursuit there, Jalen Knox. I would advise, though, any of the fans getting up and heading out or anyone thinking about turning off the broadcast just yet, that we have seen the Goats, surprisingly, in deeper deficits than this in the fourth quarter this year and climbed back to turn it into 1-point games.
I mean, it stands 3 possessions. You need the touchdown and the 2-point try successfully on all 3 to make up this margin right now. But
you need the 2-point conversion on 2 of them.
On 2 of them, the third to take the lead. That's more else.
Yeah.
I was getting to. That's what I get for trying to do some quick math on live air. Anyways, it's gonna take quite a miraculous comeback, to say the least, here for St. Joseph. Again, not out of the realm of possibility by any means, but it's got to start on this drive here. High bounce taken out of the back of the end zone. Odom on the return, tripped up and not even going to get out past his own 5. Good job by the throw-off team getting down to cover for Iowa. And they have something that almost seems intentional, the way that they throw that, where he takes that high bounce, and seeing how the Goats have struggled with that, and Odom kind of playing off of that bounce, one to the safety, and now that last turnover. Now this time just giving the defense time to get down and not let him pass the 5-yard line. Goats in need of a big play here. Trujillo maybe trying to make it happen here as he gets out of the box, and he'll get about 5 on the scramble.
And they're going to have to be quick, too.
And that clock will continue to melt away. Under 14 to go in the game now. Trujillo up in the air, 50-50 ball, and it is intercepted. Coming over is Anthony Webb, his second interception of the night. He was going for Boo Smith, and Anthony Webb all over it.
That's one thing you cannot do. I know you're looking up at the scoreboard, you think you need points quickly, but you cannot force the big play. It's going to end like that almost every single time. They tried to get that one to Boo Smith when it just was not there, and it ends in a turnover. And now you really are starting to see some people skedaddling. St. Joseph defensively needs to make a big play to get some people back onto the edge of that seat.
Clock starting to run again as we're at 13 and a half left to go in the game. It has been all Woo, and off another interception. They've capitalized on all Goats turnovers so far, but this one's stripped out, and a scoop opportunity for Knox, who he might have had it, knocked loose by a Woo player. And now a dog pile. Who's got it? And it's Iowa. And that has been the summary of the second half here for St. Joseph, in case you're just now joining us. Every bad bounce, every kind of 50-50 play has all been going the way of the Woo, and to their credit, although it's Mike Reynolds that comes up with the football, they're going to say that it was in possession of Iowa. As Reynolds shaking his head, he's had a phenomenal night tonight. 3 sacks and a scoop and score fumble recovery. Man out of University of Kansas, and maybe thought he should have had his second fumble recovery there, but officials will disagree.
Knox was trying to, I think, scoop it up and run with it when he maybe should have just fallen on top of that ball.
It was initially Jalen Knox that he was trying to scoop it and score for the big play, as Mack will run it off here. Resuming action here. And that is enough for a first down on the 3-yard run for Jeff Mack. So Knox trying to scoop it up, maybe take it for a touchdown. Goats in need of a big play, and there was a Woo player that dived down on it, knocked it loose, and that scrum at the bottom, and now we got a Goats player slow to get up, and it's the big man Mike Reynolds, which is very unfortunate to see with how spectacular he has been tonight. And he is slow to get up, and the trainer's out there to try to work on him right now. 68-46 Iowa Woo lead as we are just over 12 to go in regulation. So right now, where things currently sit, Iowa after this game, they're going to move up to 3-1, and from the team last year with 1 regular season win to all of a sudden after the end of tonight, they could be in sole possession of first place through 4 weeks here in the 2025 season. Meanwhile, for St. Joseph, exact opposite of that. Staring down the barrel of a 3-1 start, 0-2 here at home. And with this being the only matchup against these two teams in the regular season, that goes a long way as far as head-to-heads and tiebreakers and stuff. Mike Reynolds up, walking off under his own power. Love to see that from the big fella. Hopefully everything is okay with him as we'll get play rolling on here very shortly. It's just been a tough, I don't want to say night for St. Joseph. They played phenomenal in the first half, but this second half definitely has belonged to the Woo.
A lot of crazy bounces, things just not going their way.
Just an unprecedented 42 points amassed in this second half alone for Iowa.
That's an incomplete pass. It's going to be second and 10 for the Woo.
So just right in and out of the hands of Justin Brown there, a rare drop.
and 10, Rogers. Throw is incomplete. Nearest man to it was Henderson. Pressure was closing in again for St. Joseph. Was a 3rd and long.
That's what they're going to need to force. So those tips and overthrows, Dylan, tips and overthrows. Defense's best friend. They almost never end well for an offense. Eventually, you just got to have a blue jersey waiting underneath it. And that might be exactly the type of play that could flip a ball game.
Goats in desperate need of a play like that. 3rd and long, pump fake. Rogers trying to look for the big play. Now it's just trying to avoid the sack, and he's not going to get away. That's Raymond Boone. He collects his first sack of the night here tonight.
Sorry, I forgot. Tips, overthrows, and 12-yard sacks on 3rd down. All capable of flipping a football game. And it looks like, yeah, Iowa, thanks to that sack, great play by Raymond Boone, they're just going to take the surrender here and give St. Joseph the ball back on offense.
So surrender, Goats take over, 1st and 10 at the 15. That clock will continue to run, and they get a snap off. It's going to be right around 10 minutes, maybe a little under. No doubt about it, in need of points, and they need them in a hurry. In fact, this is the kind of drive where if you can get that big one play, that big hitter, you can go down the field and score that big 35-yard touchdown. You want to play that card right here. Trujillo pressured immediately over the middle. Boo Smith brought backwards and not getting too far away from Kyvon Smith, another former GOAT out there on the field.
Boo Smith's going to have to really find a way. Oh, it might have been a free offside, but the official wasn't in position.
Now a throw down the field, wide open is Lorenzo Thompson. So that big play does come. It's a play later, but a 2-play scoring drive is just as nice as a 1-play, and Lorenzo Thompson hits pay dirt. Much needed for St. Joseph.
So they didn't even need the free play. It looked like they were supposed to get one. We had an Iowa Woo player lined up offside, but the official had stumbled after tripping on a piece of turf that came up, had his back to the play when the ball was snapped, and it ends in a touchdown anyway. Chaos.
The 2-point try, Trujillo to the back of the end zone, and it is caught. Nicely done there. Ryan Martinez able to haul it in. Aaron, you want to talk about a case of that's what the doctor ordered? Look at it right there.
Couple of big plays in a row. One of them just straight up yardage and points. The other one just a highlight play in the end zone on the conversion to get this crowd back into it. Needed every bit of that. Back to a 14-point game. And hey, 9:25 to go. That is forever in the Arena League.
No doubt about it. After seeing the Woo rattle off 40 points in the second half, the Goat strikes. That run currently stands at 40-14. But like you mentioned, most importantly, it is back to a 14-point ball game, 68-54. And all of a sudden here, you get a quick turnover or something chaotic happens here on the throw-off return. Who knows, man? We could be in for a brand new ball game. This is why we urge everybody that was leaving the arena and maybe don't turn off the broadcast quite yet, because this is an eternity of time in the Arena League. 9:25 to go.
This is something of a Goat specialty as well.
This is a little bit of a Goat specialty. Thompson throw it down the field. Oh, that's got to stay in bounds. And it just does. It rattles off the top of the wall and stays in bounds for the touchback. And that's, we call it a game of inches. It's a few inches over to the left. It's a big penalty. Woo taking over at midfield, but instead it stays in bounds, and now it's 1st and 10 at their own 5, so almost backs against the wall here for the Woo.
You can pretty much just call that a perfect throw. Give him some credit here. I don't know if he was trying to aim for that exact spot, but I have no reason to assume he wasn't, so
no doubt about it.
Heck of a throw there, Thompson. And now it's going to be up to that defense. Mike Reynolds back on the field, by the way, so that is big for the St. Joseph defense as they try to force a turnover here.
A big turnover is going to give life back here inside the Civic Arena. Rogers at his own goal line, Mack to his right. Those two have been the mass production alongside of Justin Moore. Now they're going to heave it down the field, and it is overthrown and incomplete. Nearest Goat to it, Clarence Taylor on the coverage to Henderson.
And the Goats brought a blitz and absolutely were beat. They were 100% burned on that one. Justin Brown was running absolutely completely uncovered down the middle of the field, and Rogers just wasn't able to locate him, and St. Joseph catches a massive break.
See what they bring pressure-wise this time for St. Joseph. Run play, and Mack is bottled up, not going to get anywhere. Reynolds in on the play as well, but also crashing in was Clarence Taylor once more.
Yeah, that's all the credit in the world to Clarence Taylor. He made that play, well-timed blitz. His man went in motion, and for him, that left no one back to cover, so he just attacked. 3rd and long. This is huge for St. Joseph defensively.
Biggest play of the game, arguably. 3rd and 11. Wu need to get it to their 15. From the back of his end zone, pressure is coming in, and he gets it away and wrapped up, brought down Clarence Taylor. Have yourself a defensive stand. They go to
that's
Justin
trouble.
Brown, and he appears to be a little hobbled on the play. He might be getting a cramp. He's getting stretched out right now. Offensive coordinator Trey Ivory coming out to help out his star receiver. St. Joseph a score to make it a 1-possession game. Quick hitter, Smith, thought about pitching it back, had some room out the wall, and probably wisely just held on to that one. He gets close to a gain of 5, call it 4.
I think on the fake pitch, though, he gained another yard or
I
two.
believe so. There he is, Boo Smith, right at midfield.
And you're in no real super rush here. I mean, you want to act with some urgency, but it's not desperation just yet. Still plenty of time.
About a pretty good pace right here. This one, batted down. Big Trey Harlan got a bear claw on that. Big man in the middle, 6'4", 290 pounds, out of Fort Worth, Texas.
Trying to get it to Ryan Martinez, just ran the spot route. Would have been a gain of probably about 3 unless he broke a tackle.
Pressure around Trujillo. Oh, somehow he will get it away to Burnett. Oh, man. Oh, how about that? Past the 15, down around in the neighborhood of the 12-yard line.
What an athletic play from Burnett.
And now flags will fly, play will stop. And a false start against the Goats. I'll back him up for the time being. And everybody is still just trying to catch up from that miraculous hurdle play. It looks like the Goats are going to back up 5 yards.
Not quite a goal to go scenario just yet. They can still technically get a first down, but it's almost harder than scoring at this point. You need to get inside the 2. The 2 of the Woo.
Trujillo fires, Thompson is there. Up against the walls, he dives to the end zone. They're going to mark him down at the 6.
Good chunk play there when they desperately needed it. Brings up 2nd down and a lot more manageable.
Scott back to the line, snaps it back to Trujillo, surveying, finds Burnett, spin, and he's going to be short of the goal line, but he does pick up the first down.
We talked about it. It was going to be harder.
Play at the 1-yard line, and whistles will come in, and Iowa might have burnt a timeout here. The touchdown. Wasting no time, Trujillo fakes the give, surveys, throws to the back of the end zone, looking for Martinez, and it goes incomplete, but we do have a penalty flag at the 3.
Yeah, Iowa was way offside at the snap of that ball, not paying attention. That the officials had given the ready to play.
Woo defenders trying to plead their case. They move the ball up an extra half yard. Scott ready to snap it back. Burnett in the backfield with Trujillo. And Trujillo will hand it to him. Almost lost it, but able to hold on to it. Oh, he gets pushed into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Joe.
What a second effort there, St. Joseph. You want to talk about grit. You want to talk about clutch gene. You want to talk about 4th quarter fight. Here come the St. Joseph Goats with every last bit of heart and sweat they've got in them. They force that thing into the end zone, and it's a 1-score game.
Oh, my goodness. Gonna go for 2 again. Rolling out immediately, Trujillo, pressure from behind, finds Burnett, and he dropped it, go to incomplete. He would have been short by a yard or 2 anyways. But a big touchdown is scored.
makes it an 8-point game with still almost 6 minutes left to go. And as we mentioned, Arena League, that is all kinds of time.
No doubt about it. Just waiting for him to update the score. There it goes, touchdown banner. So 60-68. And now this is a scenario where maybe some fans that were leaving the arena might have been watching us in their car, and they're like, oh my, we got to try to get back into the arena. I don't know if they'll let them in or not, but
we're going to have an Orchard Park scenario, 1992. People are going to be trying to climb back over the security walls. And
I go to college basketball, Allen Fieldhouse, when Kansas hosting West Virginia. I can't remember the year exactly. I was a junior, senior in high school. I remember Dick Vitale. He was telling everybody, why are you leaving? This is Allen Fieldhouse. And, of course, the rest is history for all you Jayhawk fans. You know what game I'm talking about. But what a thriller this has been. It has been fun all night long, especially that third quarter. It just depends. If you're a Woo fan, it was really fun. For the Goats, not so much. These two teams just have a knack for playing down to the wire, high climactics all the way through. From his own end zone, Brooks on the return is spun down after passing the 15-yard line, and now Brooks might be potentially dealing with some cramps, I thought. No, they're just helping him up. He appears to be okay. A little bit hobbled, but he will have some time to try to rest up the star defensive player for Iowa. So this is where, if this arena is going to get up and get loud, this is going to be on this drive. Iowa will snap this ball with maybe a little under 5 minutes to go. Goats in need of a stop.
They've come up clutch defensively here in this fourth quarter. Can they get one more big-time stop?
Brown in motion. Now Mack goes. Rogers hands it off to Henderson, and he is going nowhere.
Looks like Reynolds might have been held there. He was arguing for it. No call, but it's not going to matter. His teammates came to rally and make the big-time tackle in the backfield.
Back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. 2nd and 10, Knox again on the tackle. He's been quite a pickup. Goats still missing Carl Ware out with the season-ending injury. They brought Knox in to help fill in that gap, and he's been quite a gem in his second start as a Goat here tonight. Pumps, throws, off the face mask, incomplete. Mack had the space. Would have picked up at least half of the 10 yards they need, but instead it's 3rd and long.
And there was a little bit of green turf between him and the nearest defender as well. That is a huge drop. As this crowd's getting loud again.
3rd and 10 from the 17. Rogers with the snap. Fires, has his man, short. But he finds Brown, wrapped up immediately by Wilson. Forward progress. Let's see where they spot this football.
Oh, he's going to be about 3 or 4 yards short.
No question on this. No need. You want to surrender. Going to try to pick up these 4 yards as we're barely towards 3 minutes to go. A first down conversion here will go a long way in wrapping up this win potentially for Iowa.
This
Goats
could be
looking for
Mike
the big
Reynolds'
play.
time.
Henderson in motion. Oh, a one-handed grab. Henderson.
I think he
It's
got
Rogers going forward, and did he get there?
Yeah, I think he got that one fairly easily. Great play design on QB power right between the hashes.
And that was by the snap. It was off to his right. He grabbed it with one hand. Didn't even get both hands on the initial snap. He grabbed it with his right hand and then ran it right up the middle. He needed 4, and he got about 4.5, 5. And now a fresh set of downs here for the Woo in Goats territory. Toss it out to Mack, let him run with some daylight, and up against the wall, he gets 5+.
So we'll see if we get one more snap here before the 2-minute warning.
And remember, in the Arena League, when it's under 2 minutes to go in the first half or second half, the clock will run more traditional, like original football kind of rules are made. The clock will stop on incompletions and stuff of that sort. Goats still all 3 timeouts, Iowa with 2, and they will take it all the way down to the 2-minute timeout.
Another fantastic.
That's the 2-minute.
Win this game from down 6 at halftime to eventually was up by 3 possessions at one point. Now Rogers scrambling, trying to make a man miss, and he's not going to, but he does get close to that line to gain. He might be right at it, as a matter of fact, and he is.
So the Goats do still have all 3 timeouts, and now we're definitely going to start seeing some of those fly off the screen.
Well, remember 2 weeks ago, it was a 1-possession game late against Duluth, and the Goats also had their 3 timeouts then. In a scenario in that game, they elected not to use them. Situation was slightly different than the one that we're currently in. You tell Rogers trying to look up, make sure that clock is running down as much as he can. Now under 1.5 minutes to go. Mack with the ball, and he is going to, I thought, almost run it in for a touchdown. But he almost gets that first down, and that very well could eventually wrap this game up.
Still not using him here.
And now it comes in. I mean, Golston, head coach Dorsey Golston for St. Joseph, he was signaling like he wanted quite miraculous happening here in favor of St. Joseph, though. Mack in a cluster, and he is brought down. Penalty flag will come in, so the clock is going to stop on the penalty.
Well, that might help. Even if that is a first down, that might help significantly for St. Joseph.
Particularly if this is a penalty against Iowa. It is against St. Joseph. Looks like in the area of a face mask. So now it is goal to go essentially from the nose of the football is nearly at the goal line. It is at the 1-yard line. Clock is stopped 1:03, and it will start rolling here.
Yeah, I would think if Iowa will let you do it, I'd let him score on this play.
Give it to Mack, and he bounces off, and he's going to high step in, so kind of like what we were talking about. Do you go down or do you score the touchdown? And Mack elects to go for the touchdown.
That's probably what St. Joseph wanted right there. Let him score on that first play. Keep your 2 timeouts. Use them on offense and then try to get a 4th down play. Iowa can do some big time damage, though, if they're able to get this conversion.
Still going to go for the conversion. 51 seconds left. Mack brought down from behind, coming in like a missile was Malik Wilson. So now if you're St. Joseph, you need another quick score. You need to convert on a 4th and 20. Try to score on that, which, I mean, the last time they did that, Aaron, if you remember, when it was the 4th and 20 play, it was that playoff game where it was Ryan Martinez in the back corner of his own end zone, was able to weave his way around and score. Eventually, St. Joe just come up, or then Kansas City, the Goats, I should just say, were 1 point shy of the comeback in that playoff game. Yeah, 51 seconds, game is still not over, but right now this has got Iowa in the driver's seat, potentially on their way to 3-1, where I know last we checked, Duluth was still winning their ball game, so that would put both teams at 3-1 and a tie for first place. Back to a 14-point lead. Odom back to return this one for St. Joe. 51 seconds in the game. Sharp lets it fly. That little line drive takes a bounce at the 1. And this time Odom does not touch it, and it is a touchback. Wise too, because that does not run any time off the clock either.
Right now, Ozarks down to the Hot Springs Wise Guys by 5. As you mentioned, Duluth.
Game has got to be getting close to going final. The Goats start this drive in space to Odom. He is tripped up. And still 2 timeouts to use here for St. Joseph. We're going to try to get on the ball and hurry up. This is what they've been doing the last couple of drives where they've been able to score touchdowns here in the 4th. Trujillo will look downfield again, fires, and that's going to come over, and it should have been intercepted, but you had two Woo players. One being Anthony Webb was going for his third interception of the night, and he collided hard in midair with, I believe that was number 9, Kevon Smith. And either one of them bring it in. That is the end of the ball game, but still some extra life here for St. Joseph, as Duluth did hold on to win 47-40 against Eau Claire. Trujillo will just run it to the wall.
That'll stop the clock and get him a first down.
That's it. So Duluth already on the way to 3-1. If Iowa holds on, they're 3-1. We got a two-way tie for first place after 4 weeks of season play. Time for Trujillo, looking for an open man, comes to the end zone, and it is, it's dropped. Think the player, did he catch it against the wall? They're gonna say touchdown. That's Ryan Martinez.
When you need a huge play, particularly late against the Iowa Woo, apparently you constantly call Ryan Martinez. Woo! And they'll go for 1.
Going for the 1-point try. Trujillo can't run it. Trying to get back to the lane. Now if he wants to run it, he can, but not going to have the time. Throws, and Lorenzo Thompson this time is going to come up with the catch. Him and Cooksey exchanged some words after, and 16 seconds in the ball game, and undoubtedly here comes that 4th and 20 play.
Well, this 4th and 20s, they're pretty hard to convert, Dylan. I just can't imagine a world in which St. Joseph pulls off any kind of miracle, I don't know, say 45-yard touchdown play against the Iowa Woo defense on such a thing. That would really be wild, no?
That would be pretty wild.
Wherever could we have seen such a thing?
Oh, I have no idea. One of the most viewed highlights of the Arena League all of last season. It was Ryan Martinez on the return. Okay, so the way this works, again, no onside kick, so they will take it at the 5, and they have to get to midfield to keep possession. And that was why it's up, especially that play with Trujillo. He got the first down and ran into the wall. So there's still 2 timeouts for St. Joseph. You convert here, take that quick timeout, you still have a chance. But you have to convert here. Has to get to midfield or beyond. Trujillo in his own end zone. Pressure coming. Fires down the field, and Thompson's able to bring it down. Laterals it backward. Ryan Martinez, lightning strikes at St. Joe.
Oh my goodness, what a grab by Thompson! And Martinez has done it again! You gotta go for 2 in the lead here, right?
They went for 2 a year ago in the playoffs, did not convert.
No, they're going for 1. Oh, they're going for the tie. What a game!
Trujillo to Thompson to Martinez. Going for the tie.
Oh, that's
pressure comes early, and that's going to move them forward a little bit.
Trujillo is arguing he wanted the free play, but he doesn't understand his center was physically touched by a defender. That's an automatic killing of the play.
Offsides, defense. Go for 2 from the 1.
And that's gonna
turn it into a 2-point conversion.
So now they're gonna go for 2 points from the 5-yard line to win the game potentially. 9 seconds left.
What an absolutely potential back-breaking mistake from Trey Harrion.
Trujillo throws and incomplete. Had a man open in Odom.
He had Odom. That would have given him the lead with 4 seconds to play, and now they'll need another 4th and 20 miracle. It is untimed.
Pressure from Kyvon Smith, the former GOAT last.
Way back from his safety spot.
All the way back at the GOAT's 20 and backpedaling. Trujillo fires, and it's off the video board. Incomplete. Try is no good. That video board has not been a factor the entire night, and on the biggest play of the game, it introduces itself.
You had Boo Smith, bracket coverage. That's where he was wanting to go with it. He wanted to give his best player a jump ball opportunity, and it banks off the bottom of the video board. An unfortunate end. An almost mirror image. I mean, you'd have thought someone had turned on a replay from last year, the way that thing finished.
Jubilation in Waterloo. Iowa will move to 3-1, and that will knock the St. Joseph Goats down to 1-3 in the only regular season matchup in the 2025 season. If these two teams meet again, it will be in the playoffs. And with this loss here tonight, what looks like is going to be a 1-point loss.
Barring something absolutely ridiculous on this kneel down.
I mean, just absolutely unseen that you've never seen before, but it's never out of the realm of possibility, especially in this game. These two teams, no way. But this could very well maybe dampen the hopes of a potential home playoff game for St. Joseph.
Though in an attempt to get that 4 seed, they will get to play all their own competition to close out the year.
And he will just take a knee. Did the timeout come in? They might put an extra second or two on. Players are taking the helmets off. And
fly away. It's the first time of today.